Hey everyone, thank you for joining the Revenue Optimists, a space where go-to-market and revenue operations folks can help learn from one another in order to grow their businesses. My name is Dave Nelson. I'm the CEO of Traction Complete, where we believe that data is this incredible instruction set for businesses if it's done properly. And so we're on a mission to help reduce the data complexity in Salesforce by building software that does things like automatically link accounts into hierarchies, match leads to accounts, and then facilitate assigning those records to whoever's the right person, and doing things like normalizing and deduplicating data. And today I'm fortunate to be joined by Kieran Snaith, who is the Vice President of Revenue Operations at Qualified. So Kieran, thanks so much for joining. You mind telling us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me, David. My name's Kieran Snaith. Right now I run revenue operations at Qualified. So that encompasses sales operations, marketing operations, customer operations, our inside sales team, and then also systems ops. Prior to this, worked at a company called Get Feedback, ran sales operations and BD there that was acquired by SurveyMonkey. And I've spent most of my time inside the Salesforce ecosystem, kind of running BD, go-to-market, sales operations. And that pretty much sums up, my background, but an extensive amount of time in kind of the Salesforce ecosystem.
Do you mind telling us a little bit about Qualified itself, what you guys do?
Yeah, absolutely. So Qualified is a conversational and sales marketing solution. Essentially what we do is we connect your website with CRM, marketing automation, ABM, and other business systems. We help you de-anonymize the buyer when they're on your website. So no longer would you just see, hey, anonymous buyers viewing your pricing page. I would be able to see, hey, it's David Nelson from Traction Complete. And I would be able to see what he's viewing, all of our CRM data, marketing automation insights on David. So what we're doing is we're traversing the business systems in real time on that web visit so we can de-anonymize that visitor and really build a 360-degree view of the key buyer that's on your site. We then give you tools to engage those buyers on your website and book meetings and build pipeline.
Now, last time we talked, you mentioned how sophisticated you're getting on your marketing attribution and how your efforts are contributing to any of your close-won deals. Do you mind sharing any tips or advice that the folks could learn from?
Yeah, definitely. About 6 months ago, one of the things we did was we kind of stepped back and we all agreed that our attribution model was not adequately representing the customer journey. It would show our source touch point, it would show our converted touch point or our most recent, but it wasn't really representing like all of the touch points that happened since they first heard of us to when they converted to an opportunity. And we have all of this data inside of our products. Our intent product signals actually shows, all of the different touch points and engagements within a customer journey to conversion. And we said, this is our North Star. We want to be able to report on all of the different things that kind of influence this conversion point. And we then moved to a campaign influence model. So we still track source, converted, and most recent touch in our kind of traditional ways. But one of the things that we now run is we run a campaign influence model that essentially takes a share of that pipeline from that deal based on that given campaign. So an example would be like, hey, we've got a $10,000 deal that was piped, but we can see that they had an ad click, maybe a cold call, and then they had a website session. Each of those would take a different share of that overall deal. And then we would call that kind of influence. And this has been a really good move for us in the right direction. We've got tons of improvements to make from our learnings over the last couple of months, but moving towards this campaign influence model is really just helping us better report on the customer journey and what is influencing an opportunity to actually get there and convert.
Interesting. And so then I would imagine that if you're attributing all of the different touch points to that deal, it probably is influencing your decisions for which campaigns to be running and where to be investing your marketing dollars down the road, whether it's next year. I don't know how frequently you do your planning, but
yes.
Is that fair to say? Are you finding better results that way, or is it muddying the water a little bit?
We're finding better results, but I think, David, where it's helping us get better with planning is understanding the portion of the customer journey where this area of influence, let's say it's digital or like sales, is the most effective. So if we look at like the top of the customer journey and kind of the education phase, let's say, right? We know now that this is where like digital marketing is going to play the highest role in this phase, because we're trying to drive the awareness and drive website sessions that would impact its intent score. That would then move it to its next phase of the journey, which let's call it aware. Okay. And in the awareness phase, this is where the AEs and the BDRs, the inside sales team, are really starting to reach out and try and drive some engagement and get a meeting scheduled. So now that we're looking at influence, we're really understanding like, okay, got it. Digital is influencing an opportunity 3 to 4 months before it actually gets converted. So let's get a lot smarter in how we deploy these dollars, from a timing perspective, and then also like a segmentation perspective, so that we can, just better assess when we're going to have the right amount of aware accounts to, convert from a BD and AE perspective. So just imagine this customer lifecycle flywheel that we're kind of constantly trying to push, and the campaign influence is helping us understand what is influencing what deals in certain areas of that flywheel.
Nice. Yeah, no, I like that. There's lots of different methods it seems like people are using for attributing where marketing actually influenced, but unfortunately still no silver bullet. But I like that you're tracking each of them, because I do think over time you'll be able to see like, okay, well, where's the majority of that effectiveness, so you can see how you can improve over time.
Exactly. I think that a lot of pieces were missed before we moved to this model, right? It wouldn't have been shown in the way that we were tracking kind of conversion or sourced. And now what's happening is we're actually seeing areas of our business that are having really large impacts that we weren't fully understanding before. So that's really important as well, is identifying areas that we are effective in that we weren't fully aware of before.
Nice. And so if you're doing that attribution now and you're trying to get every touch point, are you weighting any of those influences higher, first touch, last touch, even across the board? What does it look like?
So right now we're doing even, and this is as we continue to like further this kind of concept and push this forward and learn. We know that we don't want to stay in an even state, and we need to get like a lot smarter about this. Eventually we will move into a weighted model. Our product signals gives us some interesting data from our website, which is the engagement of a particular like website session. And we believe that that should help inform the weight or the distribution of that pipeline. Hey, don't treat the display ad click that was 1 second the same as that display ad click that lasted like 3 minutes, right? We want to weight those more intelligently. And that's kind of the next phase of our campaign attribution model, is just getting very, very intelligent about weight, but bringing in external attributes to inform that weight. Not just, hey, this is campaign A, so give it a 5%. No, this was campaign A. This was the duration of the session, X, Y, and Z. Therefore, give it a 15%.
Things like tech stack. What are your favorite can't live without tools?
Right now, I would say Salesforce, Lead IQ, Coefficient, LinkedIn Sales Nav.
Okay, nice. Data providers. It sounds like I picked up on a whole bunch there, but which data providers do you use and for which areas?
Yeah, so we have DataFox right now that does all of our account, firmographic and some technographic information. We then use Lead IQ for all of our contact prospecting. So anything that's on the individual contact or lead level is with Lead IQ. We then use SimilarWeb for website traffic and BuiltWith for an additional tech layer. We use BuiltWith's extension to almost verify or validate the technographic information that we get from DataFox.
Nice. Okay, fantastic. I didn't hear ZoomInfo or D&B or any of the kind of big players in there.
No, we're with some, I've used both of those folks before. One thing that I really look for is like the data inside of these platforms. I look for a level a level of scalability inside of their platform and solution that allows us to do a lot of our territory planning and tagging, things like that. And that's why we're using DataFox as opposed to some of these other solutions. We've found that their platform is a little bit more flexible for our needs and dynamic.
Fantastic. Oh, that's great. Okay. Are you involved, or do you get involved at all with any of the RevOps communities that exist out there?
I am not as involved as I would like. It's been a busy, I think, 18 months. But I definitely am in a few Slack channels here and there and a few LinkedIn groups.
Cool. Do you mind listing any of them?
Yeah, I think Rev Genius is one. RevOps Rockstars is another. And then I believe Rising of the RevOps is one.
Who would you say has been influential in your career and RevOps in general, whether that's someone you've worked with or for, or even others out in the marketplace that you might have learned from?
Yeah, that's a great question. Somebody who I think has been pretty influential. I think he's a partner over at Redpoint. Thomas Tongas is always right. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. He's always written amazing like SaaS content, and it's very like high level. So really, really enjoy what he's doing with, I believe, R and different some of the ARR waterfalls, how it applies to SaaS, the ecosystem today. So I think that he does a really great job. Thomas Tungus is one. David Sachs, I think, has been incredibly like outspoken recently on SaaS valuations, what you should be doing as a leader, as a board right now. And I think that his advice as it pertains to software as a service has been really great for leaders, boards, especially like young leaders that are trying to understand what the higher level like might be dealing with or looking at right now. So those are a few that I would name.
Fantastic. Oh, that's great. And if you could list one app that doesn't exist today that you wish did, what do you think that would be?
I would like the ability to very easily make Visualforce components and link that into Salesforce. And what I mean by that is like, let's say I've got a particular chart on like a Google Sheet or a table in a Google Sheet, and I want to be able to have that stored on an account record. I think that that's something that somebody should be doing. If I wanted to take a portion of my product and very quickly make an iframe, convert that into a Visualforce and be able to bring that in, I think that's great. There are too many products out there that are not built with CRM in mind, and they want folks to go over to the next app and reside in their platform. And I believe that there should be a more nimble way to create components and bring them into Salesforce. Even if it is an app where you're, just viewing a table, let's say, like I think there should be a very simple way to bring that in and put it in the AE's, BDR's hands and make it one click away on those records.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one. I like it. Well, listen, Kieran, thank you so much. Truly appreciate it. I know I asked you a ton of questions there, but this is fantastic. So many learnings. I think a ton of people will be able to take away and grow their businesses with the same approach. So yeah, for everyone that's joining, if you're looking for more RevOps advice, please stay tuned and don't miss out on our next episode of Revenue Optimists. You can subscribe today. Kieran, thanks so much. We appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure.